Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to a brand new episode of the Guru Nation podcast. Hope you're all doing well today, tonight, whenever you're listening. I'm your host, Spencer the Guru, here with my loyal co-host, Josh Como. What is going on?
Not too much, man. Just I'm getting more and more excited as we get closer to the draft, man. I'm ready. I can't wait.
Oh, yes, sir. And before we get to the draft, though, we got to discuss free agency because,
That's true.
it's hot and heavy right now. The dust is settling pretty much, as y'all can see, especially with the quarterback market. They still got a lot of running backs up for grabs. And, the best receiver that wasn't franchise tagged in Kenny Galladay. So, a lot of dust still yet to be settled.
Yep, absolutely, man. It's been a crazy free agency so far, but I love it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Kenny G, man. He's been somebody that I've had my eye on since the beginning of this. And every time it seems like a team is getting closer to sign him, somebody else puts their hat in the ring. So
yeah,
at this point, who knows where he's going to go at this point.
Right. And so, we'll break this all down here. And before we do, we're going to roll that intro thing. Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? Anyway, had a successful year, made the playoffs. Took home 3 titles, so I was really pleased about that. Guru Nation! Alright, so we're going to get right into this free agency talk. But before we do, we've got to address a huge topic that went down on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Huge breaking news, which, my day one quarterback, my QB1, my GOAT, Drew Brees, man, decides to hang it up. And I tell y'all what, it was one of those things, it kind of stung when it finally hit. I figured he was retiring. It wasn't really that I didn't think he was going to retire. I figured he'd retire, but I think it's just one of those things, it doesn't really hit home until it's actually official. And when he actually hung it up, I was like, damn, number 9's really gone.
Yep.
We will no longer have Drew under center. And so, while I kind of stung at first, now I've come to terms with it. I'm like, I think this is the best decision. I think he made the right call. If he'd have kept going, it could have ended ugly. So I'm glad he got out now. While he was still at a somewhat decent level, I'm glad he didn't come back and risk getting further injured or just seeing his performance fall off a cliff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more with everything you just said. I was on the side where, as much as I would love to see him make another return and make it a playoff push, I just didn't see it happening. And he would have probably looked good again at the beginning of the season, but I feel like it would have been the same story, same ending at the end of the year. His body would have broken down on him. Who knows what kind of injury he might have sustained throughout the season. I didn't want to see it happen. I wanted him to go out, like you said, still kind of decent, still being able to hold his head up high and be proud of what he's done. And so I'm glad he did. I'm glad he retired. It was the right decision. It was the right move. Now he can move on to being a broadcaster. And, look, he's going to be a hell of a broadcaster, man. If you thought Tony Romo was good, just wait. Just wait. I think Drew's going to be even better. And I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see him in the booth, man. It's going to be weird not seeing him on the field, of course. But, every chapter comes to an end at some point. And I think, like we were saying, it's time that it closes, on a decent note, not the note he was hoping for and wanting to go out with a Lombardi, but unfortunately that just wasn't in the cards. And at the end of the day, you can't force it. The window was there, and unfortunately it's now closed. So
yeah,
that's that. So now we move on to who's gonna be the new Saints quarterback. We've been back and forth about that. Jameis Winston came back to the Saints on a 1-year prove-it deal.
That's right.
But he's going to have to it's going to be a hot and heavy competition with my man Taysom Hill, baby. I'm putting my money on number 7. I'm pretty sure I know where you're putting your money. So I'm going to say Taysom wins it, man. Peyton, I say this is what I've been saying. Yeah, Peyton, he likes Jameis, but guess what? He loves Taysom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm thinking he's going to roll at 7 to start the season. You know, of course, if he would struggle, Jameis would probably be in the mix, which, I mean, Jameis could still win the job. I'm not hating on Jameis, but I really don't think he's the answer. Like, I'm in Taysom, I feel like he's the answer for at least the next few seasons. But what are your thoughts, man?
So respectfully, I think the decision's already been made. I think it's Jameis.
What?
And
oh my god.
And I think it's
decision's already been made. I mean, shoot, I love Taysom, and I'm at least acknowledging Jameis has a chance. I mean, damn.
So, but here's why. Like, I'm not saying that Taysom has no chance. Obviously, he has a chance. I do think the decision's been made because I think that Sean understands that Taysom is perfect in the role that he has. And I think a lot of his love for Taysom is because of how good he is in that role. I think if you flirt with that too much and you try to force Taysom into something he's not ready for, you're going to ruin it. And he showed last season that he's not ready to be a 16-game starter. I love the guy. I really hope we keep him in his role. Give Jameis a chance. It's a 1-year deal. If he sucks, let Taysom start next year. Let Taysom start halfway through. Hell, let him start after 3 games. If Jameis is that bad, let him start after 3 games. But Jameis's potential as a quarterback, as just a pure quarterback, is just his ceiling is way higher than Taysom's. And as long as he understands the playbook and the system, the smart move is to give Jameis a chance and let him try to fulfill that potential. And like I said, if he sucks, then yes, absolutely. You go to Taysom. You don't lose anything, and you just put Jameis back on the bench.
And put yourself in a hole.
And then next year you let him walk. We're in a hole as it is right now. I mean, let's just say it for what it is. After Drew retires, we all knew that someone was going to have to take the bridge quarterback. No one wants to follow the man, right? So why not just take a chance on someone that has crazy good potential, but also could really suck really badly? And if he sucks, guess what everyone's going to say? Well, he followed Drew Brees. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Who was going to follow Drew
maybe
Brees?
He could be the fall guy, and then Taysom
Right.
could come in and pick up the pieces. That's a good point.
Or we could draft someone next year and let Taysom continue to stay in that amazing role that he's in and continue to succeed in that amazing role.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think that role isn't as good anymore. You know, I think his utility role, I think it's starting to die out as far as, like, defenses are sniffing it out. Like, last year, I noticed he had a lot of plays that just didn't go anywhere. You know, in 2019, he had pretty much hit that role to the max, where last year it seemed like in that utility role he wasn't all that effective, and he had he fumbled a few times, which is something he'll definitely have to correct if he's going to be the starting quarterback. But I just feel like I really like Taysom Hill to the point I want him on the field 100% of the snaps, like on offense. I want him to play every snap, and that's the only way he'll get to do that, obviously, is as the starting quarterback, because I feel like with the ball in his hands, you got a lot more options. You know, he's got a big arm, so I mean, he can throw the deep ball like Jameis, and Jameis probably a little more accurate, but Jameis though is also more turnover prone. I feel like.
Well, they're both.
And as a result, it kind of evens out. So I feel like Taysom's rushing to me is what breaks the tie. Taysom as a runner is so much better. I mean, Jameis doesn't run, you know. He's a pocket passer. Okay, I just like Taysom's dual threat ability. And in today's NFL, I feel like that dual threat ability is gonna win out, you know, and especially considering how much Peyton loves Taysom. Like, I think he's gonna be like, man, with this you can call like a wider variety of plays.
But to that same point, they're both turnover prone in a different way. And so the same way that Jameis is turnover prone in the interception category, Taysom is turnover prone in the fumble category. But here's the difference. We saw Jameis turnover prone in Tampa. We haven't seen it yet with the Saints. And that's why I still want to keep an open mind. I still want to give this guy a chance to prove that narrative wrong, to prove that he can be better in a much better system, which is what we have. But Taysom is turnover prone with fumbles in this system, and it's already been shown, and that's what scares me. Not to mention the fact that he is very inaccurate. He doesn't throw the ball outside the numbers very well. Stuff like that.
That's something I think. That's something I think he'll work on and get better at this offseason.
But you have to give that same notion to Jameis. If you're gonna say that Taysom can get better at that, you have to say that Jameis can also get better at the stuff that he struggled with. And then there it lies again: who has more potential? I think it's very clear that Jameis just has more potential as a quarterback. Now, to go back to your point about what you said, you want Taysom on the field 100% or 100% of the snaps. I agree with that. I would love for Taysom, maybe not 100, but I'd love for him to be on the field more than he was before. Maybe bump it up to about 80, 75% of the snaps, but you can play him all over the field. The guy's he's shown to be even a deadly receiver. Like, I really feel like he can be on the field a lot. And I agree with you that last year, that utility spot that he ran, it kind of came to his course. But that's why I have so much faith in Sean Payton. We're not going to see that again. We're going to see a lot more different stuff with Taysom, whether it be end arounds, whether it be, I mean, hell, he might even line up in the backfield sometimes. I mean,
yeah, H-back role.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I really, and even tight end. I mean, right now.
Yeah, we only have one tight end on the depth chart. And I mean, I love Adam Troutman. I think he's got a boatload of potential, but it's like, we need some help there. I mean, he's not going to be able to play all the snaps. And so, I think if that's really, like, I could live with Jameis starting to start out, if they commit to really playing Taysom a lot more snaps. I mean, I could live with it. I'd still be like, man, I think Taysom should be the quarterback. But if they're able to kind of like, if Peyton's able to come up with new ways to get him involved as far as at a tight end and H-back role, something more than just him being a wildcat quarterback type thing, then I could potentially see that. It's gonna be tough, because I'm a Taysom truther. I'm gonna be a little butthurt seeing Jameis under center. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll just see, man. I mean, we'll just see. For fantasy, I think they'd both be solid. I think they'd honestly both be better than Drew. I mean, at this point with Drew's declining arm strength, I don't think Drew would have been a very good fantasy option this year. Where with Jameis, he's gonna sling it. He's gonna throw it a lot. And then with Taysom, I mean, he might not sling it quite as much, but he's going to run it a lot. Yeah. So they both will be back in QB1s, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Taysom was getting over 20 points a game, basically rushing the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can get that from him for sure. I mean, think of the options, man. You can run halfback passes with Taysom, end-around passes with him out of the slot. I mean, the options really are endless. And I really feel like Sean is going to break out a whole new scheme for him and really utilize him in that utility slot. I just think it's a smart move. But, I'm pretty sure Saints Nation's probably going to be 50-50 with this.
Yeah. I think it's like more Jameis. I think it's like 60-40 right now. I'd say more people on the Jameis side.
And again, like I said, and I'll stand by it, if he sucks, I'll be the first one to say he sucks, and I'll be the first one to say get him off the field and put Taysom in there. But I definitely want to give him a chance. I just think he needs it, and especially if he's going to try to go somewhere afterwards, we need to give him a chance to shine. And and hey, if he sucks, bye. 1 year deal, you're gone. So we'll see.
Yes, indeed. So we shall see there. Let's keep on the theme of quarterbacks. We got the dust is pretty much settled here as far as free agency. We'll be moving on to rookies. We'll be talking about the rookies in the next few weeks. But for now, we're going to go over these vets that have signed. Dak's back with the Cowgirls. Cam's back with the Hood, and then we got the MVP, baby, Mitchell Trubisky. Whoo, man, Josh Allen. Watch out, man. He's coming for your job, boy. The MVP, man.
Rest in peace, Josh
Unbelievable.
Allen.
I thought he'd have maybe gotten a better gig than that, but I mean, hey, if something would happen to Josh, I mean, that's a hell of an offense to step into.
Hey, I'm gonna say this: that's a hell of a gig for Mitchell Trubisky to go to, because now he has no pressure. He gets to just sit behind Josh Allen, let him do his thing, and if Josh Allen gets hurt, he'll come in with no pressure, and he'll just be able to just do his thing. He's got a really good wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. He's really got a good wide receiving core. We'll see if they get a running back maybe to come fill in that hole that they have. But, I mean, it's a pretty no-pressure situation that he had. The only way there'd be some pressure is if maybe late in the season, if Josh Allen were to get hurt and they're fighting for, the division or something, then sure, you got some pressure on your hands there. But, man, he's going to get to just chill, bro, and just watch Josh Allen do his thing, chill on the sideline. He's got a good coach over there, man. Like, I don't know. I think it's a very good situation. I like it. I like it for him. he now becomes arguably the best backup in the league. So I like it for him. Let him chill out.
I like it almost more so for the Bills because I feel like with the Bills it's like you get in a sweet spot. If I was Mitch, I don't know because odds are you probably won't even get to start a game, although you will get to be learning get to restart and chill, in a really good system.
That's what I think it's kind of a win-win. And that's what I was about to say. I think that's good for him. He's been under so much scrutiny for good reason. Because of where he was drafted and who he was drafted over. He's been under a microscope and under so much scrutiny since he started, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. And I think it's just time for him to take a season to step back and just hold a clipboard and chill. And I like it for him. And I really hope that he comes out of it and, improves a little bit. Maybe he can start again someday for somebody. We'll see.
Yep. And then this is a move. They had a couple more. One move I really liked and one move I really hate. I love the Fitzmagic move, right? I love Fitzmagic going to Washington. I think that's a great fit. But then this is the move that I feel is just straight up are you freaking kidding me? Andy Dalton to the Bears, promising, and not only going to the Bears, they've promised him to be the starter. Are you kidding me? Promising Andy Dalton the starting job? Shoot, Fitzmagic wasn't even promised a starting job in Washington. I mean, shoot, I think he'll win it, but it's like, really, Chicago? Y'all gonna put y'all's chips in the Andy Dalton, Matt Nagy on the hot seat, Ryan Pace, GM on the hot seat? That's who y'all are riding with? That's who y'all's last resort? Y'all basically have like a gun to y'all's head as far as y'all's job, and that's y'all's savior? Really?
Yeah,
really?
I mean,
my gosh. I'm glad I'm not a Bears fan. That is embarrassing.
I fully expect Andy Dalton to just be a bridge quarterback here. I don't know. It was one of those situations when I heard it, I was just like, okay. Like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I still like Andy Dalton. Do I think he's going to light the world on fire? No. He had a better wide receiving core as far as a whole with the Cowboys. Now he's got, in my opinion, I think Al Robinson's better than all three of those wide receivers with the Cowboys. But of course, the Cowboys had three really good wide receivers, whereas now you have one really good one. And Darnell Mooney, I think, is really, really solid, really underrated. So we'll see. I mean, he definitely has some weapons to throw to.
But it's Chicago, though. He wasn't even that good for Dallas. And, they're going to go to Chicago.
He was getting a little better.
That's where quarterbacks go to die.
He was getting a little bit better towards the end of the season. Let's give him a little bit of credit. As he was learning the system more, he was getting a little bit better with the Cowboys as the season went on. So, let's not forget, Andy Dalton was a very solid quarterback with the Bengals. It's not fully impossible to think that he could come out and get a connection with Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. And then, of course, you have two really good running backs in the back. You have a good gadget back with Tariq Cohen, and you have a really, in my opinion, a good stud with David Montgomery. It's not too crazy to think that he could be solid with them. Do I think they're going to make a Super Bowl push? No, of course not. Unless their defense just comes out and is just unbelievable. But, it is what it is. They might make the wild card. They might not.
Man, I say you're a lot more positive toward them than me, man. I think they're gonna bottom out. I think Chicago is a total dumpster fire with Nagy and him. I don't trust that group.
I don't like Nagy either. So
I think it's gonna crash and burn. The defense isn't that good. They haven't been smart about their cap space.
Wait. Speaking of the defense, did you see that they dropped Kendall Fuller?
Oh, that just happened.
That happened yesterday.
Oh wow, yeah.
That blew my mind.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think the defense will be as good.
Maybe.
Yeah, I saw something about Kendall Fuller. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's or Kyle Fuller, isn't that they don't?
Kyle Fuller. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Kyle Fuller. My bad. Yeah. I heard about that yesterday, and I don't know what they're doing. I really don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Pace and Nagy are in panic mode, and so
We'll see who
but
they
another
draft
thing is, though, even if they kind of do like you said, and they do better than I'm thinking, even if they go 8-8, I still think they get canned. Even if they get 7 seeds like this year, I still think they get canned.
I think Matt Nagy needs to go. I think Matt Nagy needs to go, but
it's like unless they do way better, unless they go like 11-5 or something like that, then they'll stay. But if they go like 10-6, might say them, but 9-7 or worse, they're done. They're on the severe hot seat, and it's like they're just in a panic. It's like that's why they probably already should have been fired, because it's like now it's just to me it's just setting itself up to be a disaster.
Yeah, I definitely don't see them winning 9 or 10 games. I would say 8 would
He'll
be.
be lucky to win 6 in my book. I mean, the way they're looking, they looking bad, man.
Yeah.
And then A-Rob, he's just signed his franchise tender, but it's like, is he really that happy? I don't think he is.
I feel so bad for him.
He's probably just like, this sucks, man. Yeah. He's probably pissed off, and if they start doing that, he might just get to where he's just, I'm done, I'll request a trade or something. Yeah, and so, but Fitzmagic, though, I think is going to work out well in Washington. Brissett and Tyrod, I think, are both pretty good as backups. The Deshaun Watson stuff's coming out now with all these allegations. It's all civil suits, so apparently teams are still willing to engage in trade talks for him. But it's still a bit concerning, considering that everything was setting up for him to get a huge haul. Now it's like, if these lawsuits end up bad, he could end up just, because I was thinking for sure he'd get dealt, but they might get a little gun shy, and the Texans aren't, obviously the Texans aren't going to just give him away for cheap. He might end up stuck on the Texans.
Yeah, which would be very unfortunate, because he's going to end up sitting out, and
yeah, and then I don't know what he's going to do.
He's someone that needs to be on the football field.
Yeah, I understand if the suits get worse, he might get suspended, but hopefully it's just nothing to that. I don't know. Because we don't get into all that on this show. We're a fantasy football show. We're not going to get into all that junk, Yeah, exactly.
To even comment on it.
Exactly, yeah. So we're not going to comment on that. I'm just saying, though, if he would face discipline for that, then it would make it to where he might end up stuck there. But if he would get his wish and get traded, which I still think there's a chance he will, then with Tyrod Taylor, that would be not fantasy friendly at all.
Especially with Will Fuller gone now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just this is just terrible.
Anyone for the
Andy
Texans,
Dalton, no value. Brissett,
do not draft.
I kind of like Brissett as a backup with Miami, but I know Fuller went there, and we're going to touch on that in a little bit, but I don't know, Tua and Brissett, to me, that's not fantasy friendly. Fitzmagic, though, I keep saying, Fitzmagic in Washington, I think that could be, he's going to be an excellent streaming option, I'll say.
Here's what I like about that. I really like Fitzmagic going to Washington for 2 reasons. Number one, because you got Scary Terry there, and he's going to get the ball to Scary Terry. He will give him chances to make plays, period. And then I love it because I really like Taylor Heineke, or Heineke, however you say it.
Yeah, Heineke. Yeah,
and I really think someone like Fitzpatrick is perfect for him to learn from for a year, and get to know him, get to see how he operates, see how he works, and hopefully he gets his chance, whether it be this season or next season. Just Washington, don't do what Miami did. If Fitzpatrick is killing it, just let him play it.
Right.
Let him play it out. And then if he starts to struggle, then sure, put Taylor in. But if Fitzmagic is killing it, and him and Scary Terry got this thing going, man, keep it going for the whole year if you got to. Let it play out. Let Taylor learn under him, and be patient with it. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully they would, stick with him if he's doing well. Because I feel like he got wrongfully benched. He did. Tua was not very good. That's why I'm not really feeling this Dolphins deal. I wish Fuller. Which I'm actually really frustrated with where a lot of these receivers are landing, and we'll get into that in just a bit. We're gonna now touch on the running back market, which still, as y'all can see here, there's a lot of names, still up for grabs, and I'm not surprised by that. A lot of these names are kind of old farts that are on the back nine of their career, but some of these up here, I feel like are still starting quality running backs sitting out there. Aaron Jones was the cream of the crop. He re-upped with Green Bay, which pisses me off because I heard last episode I was all in with A.J. Dillon.
I was so waiting to hear your reaction to that so bad.
And now, now y'all got all the guru whipped on that one because I thought for sure Jones was going to be out the door.
Aaron Jones, baby. Man. Back to the top of the fantasy boards.
Right, yeah, he's locked in as a first rounder. Because Jamal Williams is gone. Why would he go to Detroit? Come on, man. That's such a frustrating destination because now that hurts Swift, I feel like.
A lot
it's
going
to cut in his receiving work.
A lot of people are speculating he did that specifically because they're in the Packers division. Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of a different reason to go to the Lions, so I'm gonna say that's what he did. But yeah,
He's probably gonna regret that. That's not gonna be nearly. That's not gonna be a fun place to play. Especially having to play under that psycho Dan Campbell. Fight some kneecaps.
But
Man.
yeah. So Aaron Jones, yeah, I think he's back to top 6, top 5 quality. They just paid him well. He's gonna get so many touches this year. He's gonna kill it. How about that Kenyon Drake? I'm
This
so
is
curious
just
about
like,
that
yeah, I
one.
couldn't believe that. What are the Raiders doing? Like, they gutted their O line, and then they go and pay Kenyon Drake. It's like, are you serious? Like, what are they doing? And now it's just like, I mean, yeah, last year I was a huge Josh Jacobs truther, and I didn't completely whiff on it, but I also didn't necessarily hit on it. It was just kind of like, I was like, he was all right, like a low end RB1. But now, kind of like, in 2019, it reminds me of Joe Mixon. 2019, all in on Joe Mixon. And then last year, I was like, screw Joe Mixon. He's not even that good. And sure enough, he was even worse. So I was like, okay, good. I corrected myself. And I feel the same way about Jacobs. Last year, I was all in. So, 2020, all in with Jacobs. So for this year, I'm completely off of Jacobs, man. With Kenyon Drake there, that's going to be an ugly committee. I don't want any part of that. It's dog shit what they've got going on with Gruden and with the Raiders, and it's terrible. Like I no Raider, I have no Raiders, other than Darren Waller, no Raiders other than the Waller the baller. That's it. Not touching anything else on that team.
Yeah, I'm glad I never got on the Josh Jacobs hype train to begin with, but I'm glad that I stayed off it last year. I definitely thought he was being overdrafted last year.
Yeah, a lot of times those hype trains don't pan out. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. Look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, that ended up being even a worse disaster.
Yeah, so, especially adding Kenyon Drake there, man, I want nothing to do with that backfield. I mean, unless Josh Jacobs would have fall, to, like, let's say I have a top 2, top 3 pick, and he falls to that end of the second round, he's going to have some touchdown upside at least, but the little passes that he was getting to begin with is pretty much going to be negated completely with Kenyon Drake being there. And he just doesn't get enough yards to really validate him being a first-round pick, or even a high second-round pick. Honestly, where I'm valuing him this year is going to be at the end of the second round, beginning of third round, and I just don't see him falling that much. So I'm probably not going to get any shares of Josh Jacobs again. And
if he's still going that high, I'm not taking any shares. I won't even consider him until maybe like the end of the third, early fourth.
Right.
So I mean, if he's still going like second and third, y'all can have him. Y'all can have him straight up. So like, yeah, we got these few names here: Mike Davis, Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette, and James Conner. I think Lenny. I think he's gonna do Super Bowl Lenny. Run it back with the Bucks. Like Brady's got him on. He's drinking the Brady Kool-Aid.
It's interesting though because he's getting.
But he is waiting it out. Yeah, he's kind of waiting it out.
Man. He might not. In fact,
I think he will.
In fact, it's very possible he goes to the Seahawks. From what I'm hearing, the Seahawks are perfectly fine with Chris Carson walking, and they are very interested in Fournette.
Okay. Yeah, I could maybe see that. Like, I think if Fournette would go back to the Bucks, then that could set up a path for Chris Carson to go back to Seattle. But Seattle also might want to change things up. They might want to go with, they might want to try to change it. Maybe go with James Conner, Mike Davis. Like, Seattle definitely needs a running back because you can't trust Rashad Penny as a starter. That dude's been injured more than he's played, it seems like.
And
so
then they had that kid that played a couple games
last
year.
DJ Dallas. Yeah, yes. You can't trust him either. I mean, you got to bring in one of these, I feel like. I mean, they're going to maybe draft somebody too, but I feel like they need to still bring in some sort of veteran. And
Mike Davis wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Mike, didn't he used to play there? Didn't see? Maybe, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he would be a good option, and because, I mean, he showed, like, 3-down potential. Like, I think he'd be a good fit for the Jets. I think the Jets would be wise in bringing someone like him in because they need some help. I mean,
either that or bring in Chris Carson if you're the Jets.
Right, exactly. The Jets need help. The Dolphins could still use some help. I mean, because Malcolm Brown sure as hell ain't going to cut it. I mean, the Jags. Well, I mean, they can still, I mean, J-Rob's okay. I mean, I think they'll be fine. Like the... New England, Belichick's been aggressive. Maybe Belichick will bring in another running back to help out, especially if James White would walk. There's rumors that he might go reunite with Brady in Tampa Bay.
Well, Belichick is very interested in Fournette too. So that's very possible as well. Now, a name I'm seeing on that list that's very interesting that I would like to see to go. I'd like to see go somewhere like the Jets or Seattle if they were to let Chris Carson walk. Is Wayne Gallman.
Yeah,
Wayne
Wayne
Gallman was
Gallman. Yeah, he
very
did
good
very
this
well when
past. Yes,
Saquon was
very
out. I
good.
mean, he wasn't an All Pro, but I mean, he held it down. He was at least like I say, average to above average levels
Now I
running
expect the
back.
Giants
Yeah,
to keep him
yeah. Although
because
the Giants
because
brought
of that.
in Booker, Devontae Booker.
Yeah, I don't really like Devontae Booker that much.
Yeah, I don't either. But so I mean, yeah, they could still bring him back, but yeah, he could be somebody that could end up, with a team like the Patriots or no, the Falcons. Y'all, the Falcons still need running back help. I mean, Todd Gurley. I mean, he's as good as gone. I mean, so it's like the Falcons. Like, or could the Falcons potentially? I mean, I have a feeling the Falcons are probably waiting till the draft to address their primary back. Like, I think they're not going to mess with these old aging backs, but I think they could maybe bring in, maybe like a Duke Johnson or a Lev Bell, somebody to like be a compliment to whoever they draft.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean they'll have an early second round pick. That'll be a perfect time to get a really good potential running back.
Right.
They
Yeah,
have
I
a
think
couple.
they will. They'll probably draft they might draft the Williams kid from UNC or maybe Najee Harris if he's still there. They probably won't be
They
able to
probably
get
won't be there.
ETN. ETN will probably be a first rounder.
ETN and Harris will probably not be there at that time.
Yeah, true. Yeah. 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 I
Most
feel like
likely.
those top three are pretty clear cut. After Williams from UNC, it kind of drops off. They've got a few names that are kind of interesting, like that Chuba Hubbard from
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State. And there's some other names, but it's like I feel like the running backs group's a little top heavy in the draft. So I think these guys will still get paid up here. I'm kind of just if I'm their agent, I'm telling them don't panic. There's still a lot of teams in the NFL that need running back help.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, just trying to find our ideal. Like Kenyon Drake ended up. Was it like a huge payday? No, but it was more than I expected. Multi-year deal with a team that kind of you didn't really expect. So.
Yep.
I think those guys will be all right. So they had a receiver crop now. Oh my goodness, A-Rob and Godwin obviously got tagged. So they weren't. Or I made this list right before franchise tags hit, and then man, the Juju news, y'all. Juju, I'm actually glad that he made his decision right before we decided to record this episode. So I can vent about that, man. Juju resigns with Pittsburgh on a 1-year, $8 million deal, and my immediate reaction was, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why, Juju? Like, why would you do that? And apparently he had offers, like good offers on the table.
From good teams.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, he
had.
had. I think they said he had a multi-year offer on the table from Philadelphia. Which, yeah, Philadelphia is a dumpster fire. I could see him swerving on that. But he had even better offers from the division rival Ravens and the Chiefs. It's like, dude, you could have gotten back at Pittsburgh. You could go to Baltimore, and you could go. He likes to dance on the logo. You could go dance on the Steelers logo. Now you could be like, "Oh, steel curtain my ass," like he do his little TikToks and all that. Yeah, like, but I don't know. It's almost like I think he made a statement, like this kind of like emotional type statement about how he's so grateful to Pittsburgh and all that. I think he must. Maybe it's like something kind of deeper that we don't really. Or like this, that it's like he's. I think he's kind of like somebody that I guess he just values loyalty. He must. I mean, I'll give him a little credit for that, but it's just. But I think though, like you can't really in today's NFL. It's like teams don't really value loyalty anymore. So it's like as a player, it's like I think he kind of. I know it's just a 1-year deal. Like he'll be back on the market next year. It's not like he signed for like 5 years at a cheap rate, but it's still though. It's kind of like. I don't know. And it kills the value. I feel like of Deontay and Claypool. I feel like with Juju out the door, they could have had more targets going their way. I feel like it's just kind of it's a lose lose. Like I kind of feel like because it's like he's not getting his money and he's like clogging up the target share. And he's just and then him and Ben. I don't know. To me, they're not really on the same page. I don't care for it.
So that's what I was going to get into is the loyalty is where exactly because it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, it's like it's really I don't know why he felt like
loyal
obliged to go back to Pittsburgh. Yeah, and they didn't even give him much money.
Like I don't see loyalty from either side because
no, it's just kind of like
it's just a weird situation
very
I've never
weird.
seen before, and it's now going to the fantasy outlook. I think it does put a little bit of a cap on Claypool's breakout potential. I don't think it still does that much to Deontay Johnson. I think Deontay Johnson's still going to be very solid next year. He's still going to be a wide receiver 2 for you. easy flex with wide receiver 2 for sure upside. I don't think that really does much to him, but it does still put that cap on Claypool, whereas Claypool could have potentially broke out next year, and that should hurt him a little bit. But as far as Deontay Johnson, I think you can still expect him to pretty much stay the course with what he did this year. Which I will admit, I was wrong, because I wasn't on his train like you were last year. But that boy is something else. He is.
Oh, you're talking about Deontay? Yeah, Deontay, baby.
I sat down and watched a few games, and I was pleasantly surprised at how wrong I was. That kid is good, very good. He's an excellent route runner.
I know.
Now, he struggles with drops. If he can fix that, he'll be deadly. But the fact that he did what he did while dropping a lot of balls is just...
Yeah, and he kind of banged up, played through some injuries, and still was fairly effective. I mean, when Juju was banged up in 2019, he sucked. I mean, he was terrible. I mean, last year he shook back somewhat, but even last year he wasn't that good. I feel like his time in Pittsburgh was it was up. Like, I don't know why, what he was thinking. That's why I was just like, why? Like, why would you not want to change the scenery? And then it's like, you go have your change of scenery. It's 1 year. If it don't work, if you don't like it in Baltimore, then shoot. And if Pittsburgh can't, then maybe you could go back to Pittsburgh in 2022. I mean, it's like, I don't know. To me, this was a good opportunity for him to kind of like branch out and start anew with a new team, a new system, kind of get away from Ben, work with a new quarterback. Right. Man, I feel like KC, to me, that would have been perfect. I mean, they got with Sammy Watkins going, like, they kind of need a third guy to go with, Tyreek and
Travis Kelce
and also Hardman. He'll get in, but still, it's like, I'm kind of glad he did. Like, if he'd have gone there, I would have said slight stock down to like the Kelce and Hill. They'd still be really high picks, but I mean, he would have probably commanded some more targets, whereas like once he didn't go there, it's gonna be the same deal where Kelce and Hill just get targets out the ass, and I think Baltimore would have worked pretty good too. Like him and Hollywood Brown, I think would have been a pretty good duo. Like I feel like it's been better than Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh, I feel like it's the Deontay and Claypool show moving forward, and so I feel like Juju's it's just kind of awkward because I feel like now it's like normally they'd have those two. And then they'd probably bring in another young cat, and then the young cat would kind of work as the 3. And so I guess it's just, though, maybe he had to sit down with Ben, and Ben was like, look, man, this is my last ride. Let's do it. Maybe they're closer than I think.
It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I think maybe with the AB thing, the way like AB and Bell turned their back on him, maybe Ben and Juju are like, ought to have a better relationship than I realized. But to me, last year, it's just like, it just wasn't working out. It just did not seem like they were on the same page a lot of times. It wasn't like they were just like forcing it to Juju. He got a lot of targets, but he didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough Juju talk. There's a lot more names to get to here. Will Fuller picked up by the Miami Dolphins on, I think it was another 1-year deal. All these guys having to take 1-year deals with the lowered salary cap, the market not really living up to the hype. But yeah, I think it makes sense because I feel like
he's gonna miss a few games for suspension.
I think just one. I think just the first game.
I thought it was 2.
I'm pretty sure it was just 1.
Okay. Well, either way, that still makes more sense because you're still getting a guy that's gonna miss at least 1 game. So you don't want to overpay for him, even though I really like Will Fuller. You still want to make it a 1 year, and then if he balls out, you offer him an extension. If not, you let him walk. And then of course he gets hurt a lot too, so you got to
right. Yeah, him and Devontae Parker, Lord, there's no way they both play 16 games. Like
but man, they have a potential to be deadly together.
Yeah, especially if Tua can get right. I mean, Tua looked off last year, but I mean, if Tua can be healthy, and he's got weapons now. With those two, Mike Gesicki, like. Tua could be sneaky. I mean, I don't trust him though. But
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Imagine if Fitzpatrick would have stayed.
Ooh,
with those two, man,
that would be nice. Although I gotta say though, Curtis Samuel going to the Washington team, that's nice. Him and Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. Hell yeah, that's a nice duo.
And they got Logan Thomas. Like that's
Yeah, Logan Thomas.
That
Yeah.
could be a really interesting. That's gonna be a really interesting team next year.
Yeah, I
Man.
like what they've got. You know, they
that.
got Curtis Samuel who can do a lot of stuff. They've got Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Logan Thomas. I mean, they've got weapons there now. And the defense is good. You know, with Chase Young and them boys. I mean, damn, man, that's crazy. I think the Washington football team, they need a freaking name.
The only thing that
so I called
sucks,
them the Redskins again. They don't come up with a damn name this year, but still, it's like, I feel like they're on the rise. I feel like right now they're the favorites to win the NFC East.
The only thing that sucks about them right now is that they have a late first-round pick. That's it. Other than that, I love everything I'm seeing from Washington. And yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people are saying the Cowboys come back for the division with Dak, and they might be. But, man, don't sleep on Washington. Not at all.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause, I mean, Dallas's defense still sucks, and they just paid all that money to Dak and Zeke, Cooper. I mean, they don't really have much to spend on defense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Washington's the favorite right now, you know. And then we've got Kenny G still on the market, AB still on the market, T.Y. Hilton, Sammy Watkins, and then the rest pretty much settled. You know, I feel like this Kenny G, he'll get paid by somebody on a 1-year prove it. Giants are probably the favorites, but I don't know. I mean, his market's not really developing. So
the two favorites I've been seeing are the Giants and the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals could maybe do it.
I personally really want to see him go to the Bengals.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man. That'd be a wicked trio of him, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. Man, Joe Burrow would be in heaven there. Assuming he can get no line in front of him.
But out of the last 2 days, he sat down with the Ravens and Chicago. So
ooh, the Ravens. Yeah, there's Ravens with Juju turning them down. The Ravens. I mean, the Ravens need help. Yeah. I mean, they always clown them for not getting receivers, and I think their front office is finally waking up. Like, yeah, we need something other than Hollywood Brown. Like, we need something other than him. Yeah.
But at the same time, get him for what? For a quarterback that can't throw the ball, he's just gonna run what? So they can be blockers out there. Like, who cares if they get? I don't want to see Kenny Galladay go there. I feel like that's just gonna waste him. That's why I'd rather him go to the Bengals or even the Giants, where you got.
Yeah, I feel like he'd have more upside there. I do feel like though Lamar, he's got to throw it though the way I think he can support 2 receivers. I mean, although he does have Andrews. You know, he commands a good target share. Well, I think honestly, Galladay. I think Hollywood Brown would kind of become irrelevant if they sign Galladay.
He would absolutely be. Well,
because his target.
I'm not going to say absolutely because
they both probably be kind of inconsistent.
Hollywood for sure will be inconsistent, but he's going to have those games where he's going to have two catches for 2 touchdowns and 120 yards, something like that. Like, he'll have those games where he'll win you weeks, but then he'll lose you weeks because you're sitting him in your flex and he'll have 0 to 1 point, something like that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to see Kenny Galladay go there. I'd much prefer him go to the Bengals or the Giants, preferably the Bengals. I think. I'm gonna just say it right now, man. If the Bengals were to get Kenny Galladay, if Penei Sewell falls to him in the draft, then them boys, they're gonna be looking nice. They are going to be looking.
Yeah, the AFC
nice.
North will be a gauntlet, and honestly, I think Pittsburgh might be the ones to crash and burn.
Yep.
With Ben being on his last legs, and in Baltimore we know solid. Cleveland's on the rise. Yeah, Pittsburgh, I better watch it. So. Yeah, I don't know. Juju, I think Juju was dumb for going back there.
Yep.
We'll see how it ends up. AB, I think, will stay drinking the Brady Kool-Aid because he's still got those lawsuits hanging over him.
No one wants to pay that dude, man.
Yeah, no one's going to. Yeah, I don't see anyone paying him because it's like if you pay him and it's like if he gets suspended, it's boom, But I think Brady, and then they love him in Tampa, so he'll probably come back on a 1-year deal thing. T.Y., he's been a Colt his whole career. He'll probably return there on a 1 year. And the rest of the group, Sammy Watkins, that dude's so injury prone. I don't know where he's going to end up.
The Patriots.
Probably so. Yeah, because the Patriots have signed now Nelson Aguilar to a multi-year deal. Kendrick Bourne to a multi-year deal.
I do like Kendrick Bourne, but not as a 1. But I like Kendrick Bourne. I think he's a solid wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't think those guys are going to solve their problems. Because, Julian Edelman's coming off injury. He's going to be slow to start, I'm sure. And then they put all their chips, which are about to get the tight ends, which, I guess we could just get to it now because, the rest of this is just kind of garbage. Emmanuel Sanders, John Brown.
I was about to say one more wide receiver to talk about. Emmanuel Sanders. That could be something. Just saying, that could be really something.
I don't know. I think
in
he's washed
Buffalo.
up, man. I think he's
What?
washed up.
No,
He
no,
looked
he's not washed
washed
up.
last year, man. Yeah, I did not like him last year on the Saints. He let us
He
down.
had some
I feel
solid
like.
games, man. He
He
really
was
had
all
some
right,
solid
but I
games.
just, yeah.
Look, I'm not saying the guy's going to come out and
I don't
be
see
a
where he's
20-point
any
scorer.
sort of an upgrade over John Brown. I really don't.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to be an upgrade. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
John-
Yeah, I think they did that kind of shed cap.
If
so,
he does
yeah.
what John Brown did, that's amazing for them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like,
let's say Gabriel Davis, though. I'm telling you, Gabriel Davis. I'm still a Gabriel Davis truther. I'm not getting off Gabriel Davis because of Manny Sanders. No, because 30-something-year-old Manny Sanders at that.
hey, man.
And another old man that found it, A.J. Green. A.J. Green, 1 year deal with the Cardinals, is kind of intriguing, but he's another one that looked washed last year. So, and then with Nuke Hopkins commanding the majority of the targets, kind of like, I think it's kind of like, Diggs here commanding all the Bills targets, Nuke commanding all the Cardinals targets. But I will say this, I think A.J. Green has more upside than Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh, fantasy wise?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I mean,
God, no.
because Emmanuel Sanders is he's just like he's safer probably,
least
but
he
he's got no
plays.
upside. I feel like AJ Green could actually, if he's healthy, could take over the number
What'd you
2
just say?
job
Say
over
it again?
Christian Kirk.
Say it again though. What'd you say?
Emmanuel
If.
Sanders is not the most reliable.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
he played a lot more recently than AJ Green. AJ Green's got potential
okay,
sitting
all
on
right,
his
fine.
couch.
I'd rather, if it's the 14th round, I'd take the AJ Green. He might miss 8 games, but I'd take him over Emmanuel Sanders' is 5 catches for 50 yards.
Hey, that's 10 points, man. Look, hey, at 10 points,
That's
to
on a
win your
good
game,
day.
bro.
I think he'll get nothing because Gabriel Davis gonna come in and steal it, and
what?
Cole Beasley.
Who's Gabriel Davis? Who is that? We don't even know who that is around there.
Cole Beasley, somebody.
Now, Cole
man.
Beasley, yeah, no, Cole Beasley is. Cole Beasley's a beast.
Exactly.
Cole
Yeah. So
Beastly.
yeah. Exactly.
So we
And that's
call
why they
him.
like with the Cardinals. Like Christian Kirk's been a letdown. So I mean, that's why I think AJ Green. But we'll
Oh,
see.
I love AJ Green, but I love his potential sitting on the couch. More than
We'll have to make
him
a
on the
little
field.
paper bet on that as it gets closer.
All right.
So, yeah, the tight end group, man. Belichick. What was Belichick doing, man? I think he fell on his head.
Belichick's coming for Brady's neck.
I
That's
mean,
what he's doing.
but with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, are you kidding me?
Speaking of injury
that's not
prone.
gonna do it, bro. Those guys are not that good. I mean, are they terrible? No, they're both
Jonnu
above
Smith is
average
pretty
tight
damn
end.
good.
Jonnu, man, that dude sucked down the stretch last year. He killed me in fantasy down the stretch.
That's why you got
I mean,
hatred
it's
towards
a-
Jonathan Smith, because he killed you in fantasy.
Well, but not only that, because he wasn't productive. Like he wasn't that good. He's been like the way Jared Cook was. Like
But
Jared
to be
Cook.
fair, he wasn't as bad as Jared. Hold on.
I mean-
But to be fair, let's be fair about it.
All right. I'm gonna
The
calm
Titans'
down.
second half of the year always relies strictly on Derrick Henry. So of course they all took a hit at the end of the year last year, including Tannehill, because they run the ball way more second half of the year. It gets colder, blah blah, all that garbage. They start running the ball 30 times a game with Derrick Henry. So, and look, I'm not saying this is much of an upgrade with the Patriots, because obviously I'm not a big Cam Newton fan. He's washed in my opinion.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think he's
Definitely.
gonna get peppered with targets with Cam. I'm just saying, like, I don't think him falling off last year, second half of the year, is strictly because he sucked. I think it's just more to do with what the game script was for the second half of the year. That's why he was a huge trade target. Like, if you had him, you should have been looking to move him at the trade deadline, because he's the perfect guy to get rid of.
Yeah, he would have been. 'Cause, yeah, he started off pretty solid. Especially his red zone usage. And he just, like I said, he was like ghosted in the second half. He did absolutely nothing. I mean, and then Hunter
Became a
Henry.
blocker.
Hunter Henry, yeah, that's the thing. Like, he'll probably be more in the blocking role with the Patriots.
Which is
Because, with Hunter Henry, it's like, which I'm not a fan of Hunter Henry either. Hunter Henry's the most vanilla. I was getting on Emmanuel Sanders about being vanilla. Lord, Hunter Henry, I mean, he's a tight end, so you can kind of get by with that because there's not really that many good tight ends. But it's like, man, Hunter Henry, it's just like, ugh, gross. Like, it's just that guy. He's just no explosion with him. They were talking about him on the show I did with Bogart and Blitz with Blake. My version's better. We were talking about how Hunter Henry, just like, he catches it, goes down. No yak yards there. I mean, it's just, he's had so many injuries. I mean, talk about injury prone. Lord, I mean, A.J. Green's over 30. Hunter Henry's still pretty young and is already a major injury risk.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just unfortunate that Hunter Henry's had so many injuries, because he really is a good tight end. It's just
Yeah, he's a
those
big
injuries slow
body,
you down,
good
man.
hands, but I mean, he's just his explosiveness isn't as good, and I mean, it kind of showed Johnu actually got more money than Henry, you know.
Right, which he should have. Like,
Yeah, he's probably
absolutely.
got a better overall skill set as a
Yeah,
tight end.
he's definitely got more of a ceiling at this point than Hunter Henry does.
So yeah, we'll see what happens, but I feel like the two of them together, like yeah, they might help the Patriots in real life, but for fantasy, they're gonna kill each other. I don't see any of them even being draftable.
Look, I'll say this, man.
Especially with Crap Newton as their quarterback.
Against
like,
teams,
dude, I want no part of that shit.
I'll say this. I don't want them for consistent fantasy week to week, but watch their lineups because if they play teams with bad linebackers, they might eat. At least one of them's gonna eat. You can't guard both of them.
Streaming options, you know. That's what, like, I wouldn't want to draft them. You know, they might have streaming appeal some weeks.
They're gonna go late. They'll probably go undrafted.
Right?
Maybe Jonnu Smith will get drafted late in drafts. Like it's not. You can get them super cheap for a bargain.
Yep, yeah. Gronka back with the Bucks makes sense. Almost went to Buffalo. They said though that would have been intriguing.
Yeah, I didn't see it. He already came out and said he's strictly playing with Brady.
Oh yeah, he's a Brady simp.
For good reason. I mean, it is what they have probably.
I mean, he got a decent bag. I mean, $10 million. That's not bad. I mean, and he can block and stuff. You know, and he's not a big fantasy option. But
like,
I mean,
why would he want to go learn a whole new quarterback, a whole new system? Like, you know, he's there to have fun with Brady and until they retire together, until they walk off into the sunset.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, Gerald Everett to the Seahawks. I thought that was a good move. I like that. You know, with Greg Olsen retiring. And Hollister most likely going. I think him and Will Dissly will be a good duo, and I think he'll actually, you know, be the more athletic guy. You know, I think he'll be a pretty good option. I think he'll be somebody you could probably get in the, like, if you wait on a tight end, could get him really late. And with Russ likes the tight end, you know. So I think Gerald Everett's a sneaky good late round option. I think Seattle was a great landing spot for him.
I agree. I like that.
Jared Cook to the Chargers. Oh, man.
We could just go to the next one.
Yeah, I was just like, really? I was like, they had that young cat that was going to break out Perriman or something. I forgot his name, but he was looking promising. And then they brought in stupid Jared Cook, just fantasy cock block there. Like, just come on, man. Like, he had the young, they got to, like, if the Saints, hopefully the Saints don't bring in some old washed up, like, somebody like to mess up Adam Troutman's value, because right now Adam Troutman, he's got that tight end spot all to himself, you know, unless we were talking about earlier, like with Taysom Hill getting more reps at tight end, but as of now, it's Troutman's job.
I thought we were going to make a play for Gerald Everett, but I guess it just didn't work out.
And in
Maybe we didn't have the money. I don't know.
Right. I was saying that this signing really blew my mind. Kyle Rudolph, really? What are y'all doing, Giants? I mean, maybe that's a sign that just say Evan Ingram adios, but it's like I'd rather give Ingram another chance and go with an old washed up tight end like Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Kyle Rudolph's not going to take Evan Ingram's job. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, like, what are they doing? Like, and they paid him a pretty good amount of change. Like,
I
think he got more money than Gerald Everett. That's stupid.
No, they probably just brought him in to be a backup and to come on the field.
Yeah, it's probably a front-loaded deal. It's probably basically a 1 year, but still, it's just like, oh man, I don't know. And then that's about it as far as all these guys are terrible. Somebody's saying Dan Arnold might reunite with the Saints, but
okay,
yeah, it's like. Who gives a crap? Yeah, it's like if Adam Troutman, like I love Troutman, but I'm gonna be concerned if we bring in somebody like Arnold, and if he can't even beat out Dan Arnold, I'm gonna be like, man, Troutman, I'm starting to wonder about you, bro. Like, damn.
No, I think it's definitely Troutman's position to fill or to lose. I mean, so
yeah. I mean, I think Arnold would be decent veteran depth, and I mean, he's a big body. I know a lot of Saints fans hate him because he dropped that pass in the championship game against the Rams, but I mean, he did all right last year down the stretch. I wouldn't hate bringing him in.
Yeah.
And then the rest is, I mean, Trey Burton, Jacob Hollister will probably sign on as backup somewhere, and we'll see how it goes. You know, next week we'll have even more. Hopefully all this dust will have settled. Kenny G should have a home and all that, and we'll be touching on where they all ended up. We're going to have depth charts pulled up and kind of go over the depth charts and see who's trending up for fantasy, who's trending down, who got hurt and helped in free agency, and then from there we'll probably be moving on to the draft.
Hell yeah. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. That was a great episode. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. Shout out to our affiliate sponsor, Monkey Knife Fight. Use promo code GURU. Gonna have to talk to my man Joe over at MKF to get some stuff going. I know we bring them up a lot, and we appreciate them staying on board with us. We're gonna try to get in the game over on MKF. Y'all go check it out. Use promo code GURU for up to 50 free bucks. So, all right, Josh. Any last words?
Nah, man, I'm good.
Sweet. I think we covered it, y'all. Yeah. So appreciate everyone that tuned
Free
in.
Deshaun.
Peace out.